Why on earth have I got a share of GameStop, Tesla, and it is now up nearly 400%. I was very jammy and managed to get a share of Knight. In this video, I'm going to be running through my Trading 212 free trade and stake portfolios and showing you every investment that I have on each of these platforms. Across the three platforms, I've got around £2,000 invested, so a fairly decent amount. I will say though, as a disclaimer first of all three of these accounts are general investment accounts. My stocks and shares ISA, which I invest into monthly, is with Vanguard. The reason why I opened up an account with these brokers was for a couple of reasons. First of all, they're all zero commission brokers. Second of all, not that I do invest into individual stocks very regularly. I actually do it very, very rarely, but they all have a range of individual stocks just in case I ever did want to invest into any of them. And thirdly, I signed up because I also got a free share when I signed up on every platform. So if you are interested in signing up to one of them or all of them, the link is in my bio. If you sign up through my link, we'll both get a free share, which would be quality. But yeah, let me jump into, first of all, my Trading 212 portfolio, because that is where I have the most money. Also, just another quick precursor before I get into these different apps. My investing approach, I talk about this a lot on Instagram and in previous videos. It's very boring, it's very automated, it's very simple. I'm not interested in owning 5, 10, 15, 20, 50 different stocks and tracking all of them and reading their financial statements. I pretty much only invest into global index funds and ETFs and S&P 500 index funds and ETFs. And you're gonna see a common theme throughout these different apps that I go into, but let's get into the Trading 212 app now. So firstly, starting with my Trading 212 account, as you can see, I've got just over £1,000 invested. And I know you're thinking straight away, why on earth have I got a share of GameStop? I will get into that more in a second. It was just to support the people, you know, but I'll get into that more in a second. But as you can see, my actual investments here, as I mentioned a minute ago, most of my money is either in global index funds, which is what you can see here. This is a global ETF, the FTSE All World, or the S&P 500, and that's what this is here, an S&P 500 ETF. Both of these ETFs are Vanguard, and across all the different platforms that I have investment accounts with, all of the index funds and ETFs I invest into are Vanguard products. So to start off with the VUSA, the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, I've got just over 12 shares in here, and I made a decent 4.2% gain. The reason why I did that, and I'm overweight US on purpose. So to go back to my stocks and shares ISA, which I have with Vanguard, I've been investing monthly into the FTSE Global All Cap for nearly about just over 2.5 years now. As of about halfway through 2020, I purposely started putting just a little bit of money each month into the S&P 500. The thinking behind this was that the US has the biggest and most innovative companies, and I wanted to be slightly overweight US. I wanted to have a little bit of money in the S&P 500 ETF. So even though S&P 500 investments only make up a small proportion of my total portfolio, just because I've been investing into the FTSE Global All Cap through Vanguard Stocks and Shares ISA for so many years now, I wanted to put a little bit of money into the S&P 500. I've also got this FTSE All World ETF. So this is actually very similar to the FTSE Global All Cap. The only difference is this ETF doesn't include small cap stocks, but because small cap stocks make up such a small proportion of the FTSE Global All Cap, both that index fund and this ETF here, VWRL, have very similar historic returns over the last few years because they're mainly made up by the biggest companies in the world like Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and so on. So as you can see, most of my money on Trading 212 is split between these two ETFs. I've also then got Realty Income, or O. Now this is a REIT that pays dividends every month. The thinking behind this was that I got a bonus at work and wanted to invest it. As I mentioned, been investing into global index funds and ETFs for ages. I'd already been investing into the S&P 500 ETF. So I thought I wanted a bit of property exposure, seeing as I'm not on the property ladder and probably won't be for a while. And they also pay monthly dividends. So I thought I'll put a couple £100 in there. As you can see, it's slightly down. But yeah, that's one that I probably will just be holding for the long term and reinvesting all of those monthly dividends. Now, to get onto what you've been waiting for, the GameStop share. So if you've been watching the stock market, you have seen what has been happening between retail investors on Wall Street Bets and also hedge funds, and I'm not going to get into it too much. Personally, I think what happened was an absolute joke and retail investors got completely stitched up by all of these trading platforms. Not going to get into it any more than that. I don't want to start a massive argument in the comments, but to support the people, because power to the people and all of that, I ended up buying one GameStop share for $87. So I didn't buy it, luckily, I didn't buy it when it was up at $300-400, but I'd just been paid This was on the Monday, and I thought, you know, the stock's quite low. I want to support the people. I personally think what happened in the stock market with this whole GameStop, AMC, hedge funds versus retail investors was very historic and also very corrupt. And there will definitely be a film made about this one day. So I thought I'll buy a share, I'll support the people. Obviously it's down. I will say I was never planning on profiting from this, or I was just gonna buy it to support as opposed to trying to profit from it. I knew it was a gamble and I was speculating, but I just wanted to buy one share. I did actually tweet about this saying, you know, I was thinking of buying one share just to support the people. I ended up doing it, and I'm just gonna hold the share just to support GameStop. So that is my Trader 212 portfolio. It is the biggest across the free apps. And now to get into my free trade portfolio. I've got just over £600, and when I scroll down to my investments, you'll see a very common theme here that most of the money is either in the All World or the S&P 500. You'll also notice a common theme that I've got a few just random investments, more just for fun than anything, across these different platforms. So this one here is Tesla. So I got into the beta for free trade in terms of testing of buying US fractional shares. So I bought £5 worth of Tesla, I don't even know when this was, 6th of May 2020, and it is now up nearly 400%. If only I liquidated every position and put in every penny I've got, then, you know, I could have retired by now. But yeah, so I got put in £5 in Tesla just to test out the fractional shares that free trade are offering, and also it's just quite funny saying I'm now officially a Tesla shareholder. I'll run through these quite quickly one by one, but as you can see, most of my money is in the All World or the S&P 500. Now, I know you might be thinking, why are these different ticker symbols? So the All World here is VWRP, whereas the last one was VWRL, and the S&P 500 is VUAG, whereas the other one was VUSA. That is because these two funds here are the accumulation version of the All World and S&P 500 funds. Whereas on Trading 212, I have the income versions. So, income versus accumulation, I can make a whole video on this, but essentially, accumulation funds, any dividends you get paid out get reinvested automatically back into the fund, whereas income, they get paid out as cash, as a dividend, and then you have to manually reinvest it, or of course, you can invest it into something else. On Trading 212, you can invest into fractional shares in both VUSA and VWRL, which is why I like using them. So if I get a free share for say £10, I can sell it and buy 0.2 of VUSA, for example. Whereas on free trade, there is no fractional shares on any of the funds. So when I have enough money, for example, if I have £51 after a few free shares, or if I fund it myself, I can then buy one share in whole. And that is why I'm obviously Trading 212. You saw I had fractions of shares, whereas on here I've got 5 shares of the All World and 1 share of the S&P 500. In general, as a rule of thumb, I usually try and use accumulation funds just because I'm young and want all of the dividends being paid to be reinvested, and I can't be bothered to do it manually. I'd rather just the fund do it automatically, which is why I prefer accumulation funds. But as I mentioned, fractional shares on Trading 212 means that I use the income versions instead. The next investment to talk about is Diageo, and the main reason why I bought them is because they own Guinness. Similar to the GameStop investment, it was more just a bit of fun. Diageo, I did actually check out their financial statements, and they do seem like a decent company. They also do pay dividends, but the main reason why I invested in them was I had a bit of money and I like Guinness and they own Guinness, so I thought I would just buy a few shares just to support them. And now I can say whenever I'm at a pub, not that I've been in a while, and I buy a pint of Guinness or buy a round of Guinness, I can say I'm helping the company, I'm helping myself. I'm paying myself, I'm funding my own dividends that I'm getting in this stock. So as you can see, yeah, on each platform, I've got a couple of just fun investments pretty much, but most of the bulk of my money is in either the All World or the S&P 500. I've then also got Plug Power, which is a free share that I got very luckily, and I think you can see clearly it's gone up 83%. That's just pure luck pretty much. That was nothing to do with me doing research into the company, but I had heard quite a lot about them in the press and through Instagram, and then I got a free share of them, so I thought I would just hold on to it because I don't invest into individual stocks hardly ever, as you can see, other than really O. That's the only one that I've sort of properly invested into. Diageo was just a bit of fun, GameStop was just a bit of fun, so I just sort of thought, I got it as a free share, I'll keep it, and I've been quite lucky that it's performed very well. I've then got one share of MSCI India, I'll be honest, it was a free share. I had no idea what it is, and my policy across all three of these platforms is whenever I get free shares, I will sell them and then put that money either into the S&P 500 or the FTSE All World. And as you can see here, I've got a few more free shares lined up. I'm obviously very grateful for people that use my link because I get a free share, and even though I don't normally keep them, it means I can use them to bolster my other positions in the All World and the S&P 500. So if you are interested in signing up on any of these free platforms and you want to get a free share, we can both get one. The link is in my bio. Last but not least, I have an account on Stake, which is a more new zero commission broker. I signed up and had to deposit £50 and I got a free share, and then I essentially put that £50, as you can see down here, into VOO, which once again, shock, is an S&P 500 ETF. Who would have guessed that? VOO is actually an American ticker symbol, so you can't invest into it through Trading 212 or Freetrade, but it's essentially the same thing as VUSA. As you can see, most of my money is in there. Now, when you sign up to Stake for a free share, you either get Nike, GoPro or Dropbox. As you can see, I was very jammy and managed to get a share of Nike. They did a promotion over Christmas where whoever signed up, if someone used my link, we'd get 2 free shares. So I promoted that on my Instagram through my stories. A few people signed up and I was very, very lucky to get a share of Nike. And it's a similar story to Plug Power on Freetrade. I would never buy a share of Nike. So I thought, whilst I got it for free, I might as well just keep it. But what I normally do is, and what I need to do here, as you can see, I've got 2 shares of GoPro. They will be getting sold and all of that money will then be going straight into VOO, which is an S&P 500 ETF. And that wraps up all of the investments that I have across Trading 212, Freetrade and Stake. I've said it many times before in this video and other videos, but my approach is very simple, very boring, very automated. I mainly just invest into global ETFs or index funds and also S&P 500 ETFs, just because I like to keep things very simple. And yeah, when I am lucky enough to get any free shares, I usually just sell them instantly 9 times out of 10 and then put that money either into the All World or the S&P 500. I hope this has helped you out, obviously trying to be transparent and showing you exactly what I invest into. If you do have any questions, please let me know and I'll be more than happy to help. And obviously, once again, if you do want to sign up to any of these platforms, use my link in my description and we'll both get a free share. And then when I do get that free share, I'll be selling it and probably putting it into the S&P 500. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it and have a good rest of your day.